Barceloneta, Ferencvaros and Novi Beograd have secured the quarter-final stage. There were huge wins for Jadran Split, Marseille and Oradea. And in Group D, all is still possible. Welcome to the Waterpolo Champions League highlights. These are the results of round 4. Vašas Barceloneta 10-15, Jadran Marseille 3-9, Primorac Olympiacos 9-18, Sabadell Savona 13-14 after penalties, Steaua Novi Beograd 8-15, Oradea Hannover 10-9, Dinamo Ferencvaros 7-18 and Radnicki Jadran 11-14. After 3 victories in the first 3 rounds, Barceloneta came to Hungary to continue their winning streak. On the other hand, Vašas with only 1 win urgently needed a win to keep their chances of placing in one of the top 2 places. In the first match between them a month ago, the Spaniards were extremely convincing and won by as many as 11 goals. Barceloneta took the lead after 20 seconds of the game through Vince Vigvari. The same player dominated at the beginning of the match as he was the scorer of both the second and third goal. Vašas scored for the first time after exactly 3 minutes with an extra player over Batori. The guests gained their first noticeable advantage at the end of the first quarter when Gurgle Buria made a 5-metre. We went to the first break with a +3 because Soma Lakatos scored for 2-5. At the beginning of the second part of the game, Barceloneta escaped to +5 thanks to Roger Tahul with an extra player and Unai Bielara. Until the end of the first half, it was goal for goal. David Mayix reduced it to -4 in the action with an extra player, but the second quarter still ended with 10-5 after Tahul took advantage of the numerical superiority in the pool. Nothing much changed in the third quarter. The Hungarians would reduce through Rolando Gash, but the visitors would return to their biggest advantage again thanks to Alejandro Bustos with an extra player. The last quarter was played in a similar rhythm. Barceloneta definitely broke the game with 2 goals from Granados within half a minute. The first scored with an extra player and the second from the penalty. The last goal of the match was the work of Batori, who made the final score with the numerical advantage, 10-15. In the winning ranks, the best were Vigvari with 4 goals from the same number of attempts, and Granados also with 4 goals. At Vašas, Bogdan Durdic was the most effective with 3 goals. With maximum performance, Barceloneta secured passage to the next phase of the competition 2 rounds before the end, whilst Vašas will have a difficult task with 3 points. Jadran Marseille was played after the Vašas versus Barceloneta match in Budapest, and it was clear that in Group C there is only 1 ticket left for the quarter-final. Both Jadran and Marseille had 3 points before this match. Marseille also had a 2-goal advantage after they beat Jadran in the first round, 13-11. It was Marseille that started well. Krasiliad uses the counter-attack to score the first goal of the match. It was all Marseille in the first quarter. After Larombe's goal for 0-2, it was Krasiliad again. When he scored 2 seconds before the end of the first quarter for 0-4, it was clear that this was not going to be an easy night for the Montenegrins. Primorac scored Jadran's first goal at the beginning of the second quarter, but they simply couldn't get their attack in order. On the other side, Marseille could. After this Polonovic's goal, it was 1-6 for the French champions. In the third quarter, there was only one goal. It was this one from Larumbe for 1-7. It took Jadran almost 18 minutes to score. By then, it was already 9-2 for Marseille, and all hopes were gone for Jadran. Ivovic scored the last goal of the match 4 minutes before the end. It finished 9-3 for Marseille, an excellent defensive performance from the French champions led by their goalkeeper Tashinovic with 11 saves against his former club. Krosiliak was the best scorer of the match with 3 goals. Ivovic scored 2 for Jadran. The Qatar pool was the host of the match that neither team could afford to lose. Primorac had 2 points after 3 rounds. The team led by Vyacheslav Paskovic lost 2 penalty shootout rounds against Sabadell and Olympiacos. The Greek champions, on the other hand, were considered as one of the favourites to reach the final 4, but after they lost at home against Savona in the last round, they needed to win in Qatar to stay in the race for the quarter-finals. Olympiacos started the game in that manner, strong in defence and deadly in attack. After Funtali scored from the penalty, it was 0-3 2.5 minutes before the end of the first quarter. After Murasic scored for Primorac 21 seconds before the end of the first quarter, Ganadiniaz scores for 1-4 from 6 metres. The game was decided in the second quarter. Primorac scored twice in a row. First Vitso, then Perov finishes a beautiful attack for 3-4. Primorac had a chance to equalise, but after Chechkovic missed, Funtali scores in a counter-attack. That was the start of an incredible Greek series. 6 consecutive goals in 5 minutes of play that ended with Bouchillier using a man-up situation for 3-10 in the first minute of the third quarter. Primorac scored finally after almost 8 minutes. It was Shashevili for 4-10, but it was already clear that Olympiacos is taking the points to Piraeus. There were some nice goals until the end. This one from Dinamo for 4-11 pops out. Olympiacos didn't stop. Their advantage kept rising, and after Dinamo scored with an extra player, it finished 18-9 for the Greek champions. Dinamo was unstoppable with 5 goals from 6 shots, and for Primorac, Vitso, Perov and Matkovic scored 2 each. Savona, the leaders of Group D, went into the 4th round with 1 goal in mind, to keep the winning streak alive on yet another visit, this time to Sabadell. They already managed to pull one of the biggest surprises of the previous match days, taking a full 3 points from Piraeus. Not such a common scenario when you look at last season. The first 8 minutes were marked by exclusions and quite a lot of unused opportunities to convert them into goals. 7 of them in total, with 6 of them for the Italian side. Davide Occhioni got the ball from the right side of the pool from Luca De Monte to convert the first of the game. The home side had 2 chances to convert the numerical advantages, but the third time was indeed a charm for Sabadell and Constantino Verca. Luca De Monte and Pietro Figlioli were the duo that made sure the advantage grew by the end of the first period. And with only 4 seconds to go, Alberto Barroso fired a skip shot from the left side to make it 3-2. Remember 7 exclusions from the first period? Well, add 11 to that number as the power play occasions kept growing and growing, but so did Savona's advantage. Damonte opened the account of the second quarter. The Italian lefty opted for a diagonal shot, and no surprise, it was yet another power play. Averka's goal followed. The Montenegrin national team player did just enough with a few waves and a powerful left-sided shot to reduce the deficit. Two penalty shots gave an opportunity to Figlioli and Daniel Merkelov, a precision from the 5 metres masterclass, as they both opted for the same, the left side of the goal. 6-3 for Savona, but not for long. But also closed the quarter in the last seconds, this time with 19 to go before the half-time with a phenomenal goal. Just watch this one, right through the middle. +2 for Savona entering the penultimate round. But let's keep the momentum with exclusions going, shall we? From number 18, we're jumping to number 28, as the first bystander statuses were given to Savona's Nicolo Rocchi and Davide Occhioni before the end of the quarter. Prior to that, Figlioli took the responsibility of hitting the net 2 times in a row. Josep Bonnet and Barroso answered with their 2-in-a-row streak, both of them scoring from extra player opportunities. Occhioni kept the distance to 3 goals of a difference before Alex Bowen joined the goal scorers list, followed by Averka's 3rd of the game. It was the first time since the first quarter that Sabadell was chasing only 1 goal of a difference. Figlioli converted the power play with 36 seconds to go for 10-8 as the final result of the quarter. 3 quarters down, 1 to go. But we weren't ready for this kind of excitement and suspense, of course. Only 3 goals and 3 more players who got the 3rd and final exclusion, being Vincenzo Renzuto, Lorenzo Bruni and Jose Bustos, raising the excluded players count to 36. And the result to 11-8. Damonte netted an exceptional diagonal shot from the right wing. If you thought that would be it, the home side simply refused to surrender. And that effort was awarded before the last whistle of the last quarter. Barroso, who ended the match with 4 goals, Francisco Valera and another 4-time scorer of the game, Averka, were the main stars featured in the mini-series of 3-0, meaning they caught up and the game went into the waters of uncertainty for a few more minutes. A point for each of the sides, but who's taking the additional 1 after the penalty shootout? It started off better for Savona as Gianmarco Nicosia saved Valera's shot. Figlioli used his opportunity, but also didn't, thanks to another Nicosia save. But get this, 13-11 with Merkelov's goal. Averka was next in line of imprecise scorers for Sabadell. But there was no checkmate just yet. Damonte hit the post, so Bowen was all on board to use his opportunity, and so he did. The tension was rising as Valerio Rizzo's shot was saved by Sabadell's goalkeeper Eduardo Lorio. Axel Corres scored goal number 13 for the home side, meaning all the pressure laid on Mario Guidi's shoulders. Can he make it 14-13? Is this where the game ends? Yes, he can. There's the goal worthy of an additional point. +2 on the scoreboard for Savona, +1 for Sabadell. Game, set, match. A chance for Novi Beograd as a visit to Bucharest offered a chance for 3 points worthy of a quarter-final stage. And a continuation of the winning streak in all of the games played so far this season. Steaua, on the other hand, had their own calculations in mind. If they can put up another display, such as the one on Matchday 1 throughout the whole game, maybe they can keep their next phase dreams alive. But right from the start, it was clear who is getting richer with new points. The only time the hosts had an advantage was in the first quarter with Vlad Georgescu's goal. Nikola Lukic, Angelos Vlachopoulos and Vasily Martinovic turned things around straight away to put 3-1 on the scoreboard. And before the last whistle of the first quarter, it was a goal more on each side of the pool. The advantage kept growing as +3 turned to +4 in the second period. But truth be told, Steaua came quite close to equalising with a goal thanks to Georgescu once again. It was the second and the last time Steaua could keep up, because after 5-4 for the guest side, they answered with 4 goals in a row. Tudor Folia found the back of the net for the home side with only 12 seconds before half-time. 9-5 for Novi Beograd, who managed to add another goal of a difference entering the third period. With the help of Vlachopoulos, Lukic and Skumpakis, a new streak of 3 consecutive goals was scored. Whilst the home side still relied on Georgescu and Folia as their main attacking threats. A goal from Marko Dimitrijevic squeezed in between the home side's 2 goals before the final whistle of the penultimate round. Meaning it was 12-7 and it was only a matter of a question: what would the final score be? Not a lot of goals, 4 in total, 3 of those being courtesy of Novi Beograd. Luka Gladovic and a brace from Martinovic meant he levelled Lukic's efficiency, so 2 of them shared the top scorer title alongside Georgescu and Folia from the rival team. 15-8 in the end, 100% efficiency, check. Novi Beograd is on to the next round for sure, with 2 games to spare. In Oradea, it was a very important match for the hosts. The Romanians had 5 points and a win would bring them very close to the quarter-final stage. The Germans had only 1, so they definitely needed a win to maintain their theoretical chances of qualifying for the next round. The first game between them was very close, and Oradea eventually took the points with an 11-10 victory. The second one was similar. It started with a goal-for-goal game, and then at the end of the first quarter, with goals from Vancic and Gardasevic, the hosts went into the break with a 2-goal advantage. However, Hannover managed to equalise in the second. Milodovic and Lodzina scored at the very end of the first half. In the third quarter, Oradea again managed to separate themselves to a 2-goal advantage when they went from 5-5 to 7-5 on the wings of Gardasevic. However, they went into the last quarter with only 1-goal advantage because Benic scored the goal for Hannover half a minute before the end. The dramatic match continued in the last part of the game. Hannover continued with this streak, and through Buha, they took the lead for the first time, exactly 6 minutes before the end. This did not discourage Oradea, who soon turned the tables and regained the lead with a goal by Negrea. In the next attack, the guests managed to equalise thanks to a goal by Ganson with an extra player. The decisive goal was scored a minute before the end, and the hero of the home team was Ivan Gusorov. Hannover had an attack to equalise, but they failed to score, and Oradea celebrated another close win against Hannover. Vancic and Gardasevic stood out amongst the winners with 3 goals each, while Lodzina was the most effective among the losers, also with 3. Ahead Ahead of Ferencvaros' away game against Dinamo in Tbilisi, the situation in Group B was quite clear. The Fradi entered this match with 3 easy victories, and a win in Tbilisi was enough to secure the quarter-final stage, whilst Dinamo was already close to elimination with all 3 losses. In the first match between them in Budapest, the Hungarians were very convincing, winning 16-7. In this match too, everything became quite clear quite quickly. After an initial lead of 2-0, Dinamo managed to come back and equalise through Tankosic. That was from the penalty shot, but it turned out that was all they managed to do. The guests scored 3 consecutive goals and ended the first quarter with a more significant lead, with a goal from Agriopoulos on a counter-attack. Ferencvaros did not stop there, but with 2 new quick goals from Nagy and Sommer, they escaped to an already unattainable lead. The Tbilisi team went 5 minutes without a goal before Akhlaf Dialli broke the deadlock. However, by the end of the half, the Fradi had made another 3-0 run, and after Agriopoulos' goal, they ended the first half with a 10-3 lead. The third quarter was mostly goal for goal, and the visitors ended that period with 2 consecutive goals from Manhertz and Nagy, and gained an 8-goal lead. It was just the beginning of a huge run, as they scored 4 more goals at the beginning of the last, ending with Vamos's goal with an extra player. They scored 6 goals in a row, and Dinamo was scoreless for 12 minutes. The last goal of the game was scored by Primorac for the final score 7-18. For Ferencvaros, Manhertz was the most efficient with 4 goals from 5 attempts, whilst the only double scorer for Dinamo was Tankosic. Clash-worthy of the next round in this season's competition. Filled with national team players, the Olympians from Serbia and Croatia on both sides. The derby match, one of 2 that these teams will play throughout the week, the second one being the regional league match, yet again in Kragujevec. Radnicki wanted revenge after losing the first match against Jadran Split on Matchday 1. The penalty shootout was the segment that determined who takes the additional point. And it almost looked like it would be a game. It was quite a tight match for the most part, with one difference when it comes to the rosters. Radnicki couldn't count on Radomir Drašović, as he got a direct red card in the clash versus Dinamo Tbilisi. That was in the last round. It was goal after goal after goal. You could pretty much sum up the 3 quarters of the game with only that. Jurko Marinic Kragic, the guest side's captain, secured the minimal advantage right at the beginning. But it didn't take long for Radnicki to score their first. Dusan Vasic used the first extra player attack of the game for the first out of 7 equalisers of the game. Soon, the only Croatian representative found a way to score the first power play of their own. Their speciality, from the post, Zvonimir Butic delivered the ball and Duja Pejakovic scored. Strahimir Rašović converted the first penalty shot of the game into a goal for 2-2. But Pejakovic found a way to take another step towards the advantageous position. Filip Jankovic, Marin Tomasovic, Nikola Jasic and Dusan Banicevic were all on target by the end of the first period. And when you turn that into the scoreline, it was 5-4 for the guests. 8 more minutes, 5 more goals, and we're back at square one. Thanks to Dusan Vasic, Nikola Murisic and Nikola Jaksic, Radnicki caught up to make it 7-7, with even Domagoj Zovic and Tomasovic keeping the minimal advantage of the second quarter alive. This is where the key of the game lies. Jadran doubled the advantage for the first time, and not the last. First it was Zovic and Dušević. Nikola Jaksic tried to continue the momentum of chasing the equaliser for the home side. Fratovic and Vičković also had something to say before the penultimate quarter ended. Topped with Marinic, Kragic and Butic, who built the biggest advantage yet, 12-9. Radnicki missed their chance to take the game into the water of uncertainty in the last quarter. Even though Nikola Jasic reduced the difference back to 2 goals, that was at the beginning. Vatovic showed another display of his quality, followed by Mark Berahulak's first goal of the game for 14-10. Vichkovic converted the 3rd penalty shot for the home side, but it was too little, too late. Jadran secures 3 important points in the pursuit of the quarter-final. After 4 rounds, Ferencvaros leads in Group E, 12 points. If Jadran wins against Dinamo Tbilisi in the next round and Radnicki doesn't manage to surprise Ferencvaros in Budapest, the Croats are through. Barceloneta is also on 100% in Group C, and Marseille's win has given them a great boost in the chase for 2nd place. Jadran Novi and Vasas are on 3 points. In Group A, it is Novi Beograd in a comfortable lead in 1st place. Oradea needs 1 more win in the next 2 matches to qualify. And in Group D, Olympiacos is close to the top again, chasing Savona in the 1st place. For the Greek champions, next round is crucial. If they beat Sabadell, they're through. For the Catalans, it's win or stay behind. Only a week to rest. Round 5 is next Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see you then.